welcome to Also Driven. And it's our day off, a weekday off, so we can ladies who lunch.
Yeah.
So, which one of our wonderful cars are we going to take on our ladies who lunch trip?
Well, you fancy taking the green car out because it hasn't been out for a long time. I don't fancy taking the green car out because it cuts out
That's the best reason
occasionally.
to take the green car.
Really isn't. It stresses me out. I don't know what's wrong with it. It only cuts out after about half an hour of driving as well.
How far away are we going today?
About half an hour.
Let's see how we get on.
Well, I spotted the green car in Ely in 2011 when I was there for a walk with my parents, and got super excited because, oh my god, there's a W Reg Volvo 340 sitting on the side of the road, just like there. So I went back a week later and left a note on the windscreen for them, and also took my other 340 they already had and took a little photo shoot. I'm sure I'll put up some photos of that now. Anyway, they rang me a couple of weeks later and said, we don't want to sell the car to you, but someone's just crashed into the back of us last night. Can you help with some parts? So I got them a new bumper, got them some rear lights, that kind of thing. And then over the years, they kept in touch, and I helped them with bits and pieces of parts over the years. And finally, in 2018, they let me buy the car off them when they finally got a new car. So that's kind of my connection to the green car. But in terms of a car, what is it? It is a 1981 Volvo 345 1.4 manual. In a lovely shade called, I think, forest green. I'm not entirely sure. It's very unusual these days. The thing that makes it kind of special, apart from that kind of connection, is the fact that it is so shonky. So it is exactly what I love about older cars, in that they just kept it alive. So the lady who owned it inherited it from her uncle in 1998 when the car was 17 years old, and then daily drove it for 20 years after that until it was 37, which is absolutely insane.
And she wasn't an enthusiast.
No,
she
no,
wasn't,
no.
like mechanically minded.
No, she just loved the car. And during that time, they obviously rusted, so they've had it patched up. So it's a patchwork of sort of kind of rust, what they call welding repairs everywhere. And it was very multicoloured when I first got it. They'd obviously bought a can of green paint that bore no resemblance to the Volvo colour, and sort of the bottom half of it was a completely different colour. And I there's an element that I quite like that, but I had to buy the correct colour and get it at least one shade of green, and that helped. But it is still pretty kind of shonky and ropey in parts. But yeah, that's kind of its charm, really, in a lot of ways. It shows its history, it shows its life.
Are you done?
Yeah.
So, what's our plans for today?
Our plans for today are we're going to head to Saffron Walden, which is in North Essex, just south of Cambridge, and we are going to go maybe look around some charity shops, but more importantly we're going to go and have lunch, or kind of a brunch in this very nice cafe that I can't remember the name of, but when we get there we will put the name up.
Because we are professional ladies who lunch.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So professional we can't even remember the names of the cafes we go to.
Yes, because they all merge into one.
Yeah, but I know where it is.
So, why do we think the car cuts out at 30 minutes? What was our...
So, yeah, there's been a couple of theories, and the one that kind of is my winning theory that someone suggested on Twitter, it was Fritian and a few other people, I think, that the fuel breather hose in the tank was blocked, which means that eventually there was such a vacuum in the tank that it was kind of throttling itself. It couldn't suck any more fuel out of it. Because otherwise it runs perfectly for about half an hour. And the interesting thing is that every time it has done it, it's been taking longer each time to cut out, whilst I've been going down the tank of fuel. So that kind of also fits in with that theory. So a couple of days ago I have pulled the breather hose off. It was kinked quite badly where it met the body, so I've kind of moved it about and unkinked it a bit, but I'm just not convinced that is really the reason. But I'd be very happy if it is, but I kind of wonder what else it could be. So I know that last year we had a little issue where the inside of the top of the air filter, which is metal, had rusted, and that rust had dropped into the carburettor. But I've cleaned it all out as far as I can tell. But maybe there is a chunk of rust still there in the carburettor, but why would it only come to light after, say, half an hour of driving, and it wouldn't do it straight away.
Okay.
You know, if it was random.
So we have some theories, and
If it cuts
interestingly,
out-
where we're going is roughly where it cuts out. So
Yeah.
your theory on the kink in the breather pipe is our kind of only thought on how we're going to get food. So if you're wrong, we starve to death, and if you're right, we get lunch.
Oh, an MGB GT.
I
That's
don't know if
nice.
that'll work. Oh, he's looking
He's
at
looking
us.
at us.
He
He's
smiled.
smiling.
We're not getting lunch, are we? What's our options? Oh yes, the option was I was supposed to sort this, wasn't I?
That's what you said.
Okay, right. So what we said was, let's take the petrol tank cap off and
Oh, yeah.
see if it makes a difference.
Okay. Nothing. It says carb, not tank, I think, mustn't it?
Okay, well, at least that kind of let us know. Okay, where's the fuel filter? Fuel filter is actually really full.
Really full, really clean.
Yeah.
Doesn't do that. I mean, it's fine now, but what I'll do is I'll knock it off and restart it. It seems to be happier when you do that. Okay, now we won't restart. This is good. This is good.
This is good.
Nope.
Okay. So we're going to starve to death. So if anyone wants to send food parcels or any form of aid, we're on the A27 just coming. Okay, well we're moving under our own steam. Your little mind is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
As you're desperately trying to think what this could possibly be.
It's more going at 1,000,000 miles an hour of I just want to get home and it not cut out again, because I find it so stressful. It's what I hate about older cars, is if anything goes wrong that kind of leaves me stranded at the side of the road. I don't know why, but it really bothers me.
And also the fact that it's not something you can recreate in the driveway.
No, so I don't know what the problem is. It is perfectly fine when you start it and it idles in the driveway. It's beautiful, there's nothing wrong with it. So why, after 20 minutes, 30 minutes of driving, it decides to start becoming unhappy?
Yeah, which involves stripping lots of parts down, fiddling
Yeah.
with them, putting them back together, and then taking them out and finding if
I mean,
they can make
someone
any difference.
may well suggest that coil, but I mean, it's not hot. I could buy a new coil and try it, but it's not hot. And when it did actually cut out, lots of people, I put a video on Twitter and lots of people were saying that's fuel.
Red.
Sorry, red, okay, change. That's fuel, not ignition, because it petered out, you know, it didn't try to fight for its life like it would do if it was an ignition related thing.
Yeah, that makes sense, because generally ignition is very
What you're going to
either
do.
on, off, or sick,
Yeah. Yeah.
like we were with the Tipo.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, though, this is what YouTube is brilliant for. Someone may come up with some
maybe.
fantastic answer to this.
Maybe. I suspect the answer is I have to try stripping the car down and just make sure it's all clean inside as a first step, and then trying that out and seeing how we go. Because most components in this car are reasonably new. You know, it's been a daily car and nothing is old in it. So don't do that. So, and the carburetor I have stripped, cleaned and rebuilt myself about 5 years ago, and I had it professionally tuned because I couldn't quite get it right. So, like and it's driven perfectly for 5 years. And the only thing I can think of is that air filter thing did drop lots of little bits of rust into the carb. It did most definitely do that. That is the only thing that's the only difference that's happened. And it can't be thinking fuel lines breaking down a little bit in the tank because they're quite old. I don't think I have replaced those ones. But there's no bits in the filter. The filter is absolutely pristinely clean.
Yeah.
So it can't be fuel supply. The fuel pump is new. And the fuel filter is after the pump is full, so it's getting plenty of juice. It's nothing to do with supply to the carburettor. So it might be sticky float needle in the carburettor.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but Renault van.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, we've safely made it back. Are you okay?
Yeah, more okay than I was.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Right. Reverse it up.
Oh. Okay.
Well, that was serendipity.
Wasn't it?
It made it the whole way back and then died. Shall I get out and push?
It'll restart.
This has ended up actually quite a tinkery video where it's supposed to be ladies who lunch, who go off and do nice things.
I know. Bloody car. Don't get my lunch. Now.
That's quite the basic bolts and braces on the air
it's
filter.
A bit, isn't it?
Bit over-engineered.
This isn't the original air filter for a 340, as in the first air filter they had was a big conical one. This is new in 1981.
Okay.
And just to explain as well, it was the inside of that had rusted out before.
Okay.
But I've obviously rubbed it down completely and rust-proofed it and repainted it, so there's no rust now falling into the carb.
Okay. What's broke?
The inside of the HT lead wasn't very tight at all.
Yeah, the bit sort of white looking.
Bit furry on that end, isn't it? Or maybe that's just the copper grease, actually, that's got onto the electrode.
Okay, now it's running on 3 cylinders. Okay, I don't think we've done very much, but we'll start it and see what happens.
Why is it fine now?
Okay, so it is running, it's driving, it's working, and we don't know why. So on that bitter disappointment, thank you for watching.
Yeah, and hopefully I get it fixed at some point in some way.
And we're still hungry. Bye.